Zaldy, you're already a three-time Emmy winner for outstanding costumes for a variety nonfiction or reality program for the work you've done on RuPaul's Drag Race. This year, you could win again, of course, but actually this year the category is a juried award this time, which means that your submissions are reviewed by peers, and there could actually be multiple winners potentially. Did you have any thoughts about that sort of change? And because those of us who follow the Emmys and those of us who are involved in the industry, and must be quite consequential to how things work with you in terms of what you submit and how you edit it down and all that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of a surprise because I really didn't know about it. But I mean, it's an honor always to be recognized for your work. I mean, and so it's like there's all good feelings. I still don't really quite understand what it means, but as long as I'm going to be allowed to celebrate with my show and with my other nominees, I'm like thrilled to once again be a part of this year's Emmys.
And the episode entered for consideration for costumes is the grand finale, in which RuPaul has a couple of very show-stopping looks. I mean, it's a RuPaul look, so show-stopping is a little bit redundant. So let's start with that performance look, where she's performing New Friends Silver, Old Friends Gold at the beginning of the episode, where has this cape over this kind of crystal beaded leotard. What went into that design? What inspired that?
Well, it's like the finale. First of all, was like it was like this thing which you're like the last year when it did the Zoom finale. I was like, oh my God, please let it be aired next year. Let us get near a stage. And so I just started to put into motion. Hopefully, I was like, I hope we can get on stage, but just in case we are able to, I'm going to start working on outfits, like a year ahead of time. So I started to partner with Swarovski Crystal, and I was like, if we get on stage, I want this to be the biggest, most colorful, brightest, shiniest finale that we've ever seen, because we all need this. So I was really happy that sort of worked out and that we were able to go on stage, and that I had all of that incredible material to work with. That number was kind of like a last minute addition. They're like, oh, did you know Ru's doing a song? And I'm like, no, I didn't. I'm like, what is she gonna wear? So it was kind of one of those like, oh my God, like one of those last minute things that just has to get created. And, it was like a real time crunch, but it really worked for us. It's like it was solid, chunky Swarovski crystals set into this leotard that had this gigantic, 250 yards of tulle reveal. And I thought it was amazing. I was so happy to see Ru performing again. It's like we really never get to see that. We haven't seen it in a long time, so I loved it.
And I was, as I was discussing with Dana about Lovecraft Country earlier, when you're designing for performance or a lot of movement, and of course you have a lot of experience working with RuPaul. So what are the different considerations for that kind of?
Well, you have to think, well, what is happening? Is she walking downstairs? Are dancers lifting her? Is she got some heavy choreo? But I normally prepare a lot of ease in Ru's outfits anyway, because, whether she's the host and is going to be sitting down for the next 10 hours or, doing a live number on stage, it still, in drag terms, has to be comfortable.
And the costume that she spends most of the episode in is that gorgeous rainbow gown with a lot of sparkle to it. Where did that design? What was that inspiration?
Well, once again, it was in the optimism of hoping that we would get on a stage and be able to scream and shout, we're back. Here's a spectacle for you. I just, I was working with Swarovski and I saw these neon Swarovski crystals that they had and I was like, this is definitely a neon rainbow. And sort of right away, I kind of knew exactly what I wanted to do with it, with doing the ombre of each color, and then the ombre fade of the sizes of each color. It was really just like, it's one of those moments when, because it's like you do so much work and you put out so much content that sometimes you're like, ugh, is that exactly what I wanted to see? But it's too late, it's gone. But this one had such great lead time that I have to say it was like absolutely exactly how I imagined it. It functioned the way I wanted it to. Even when I was fixing Rue on set and Gottmik was there, she was just like, oh my God. She's like, I think this is my most favorite RuPaul look of all time, which says a lot since there's been thousands. So I knew when she said that it was like, it was working.
And you mentioned that ombre effect. It's so smooth the way that color flows all the way down that dress, through the colors of the rainbow. How was it difficult to achieve that effect, or what was that process?
No. Difficult is no, because everything that we do, most people might think it's difficult, but to us, it's just another day in the office. It's like, it's a lot of time because it was like hand painting every single layer, and then not all of them work, so there's a lot of discard, but it's like a lot of pieces, because it was all tiered into like little organic shapes. So it was just like, it just took a long time is what it did, but it wasn't hard or difficult at all. It was, like I said, just another gown, but that took a lot more time than usual.
And you mentioned also the need to be, for, of course, Rue to be comfortable. What kind of fabrics do you work with, and does she especially prefer to be wearing, especially under performance situations or when she's in it for a very long period of taping?
Yeah. Well, when you're, it's hard to just think of the outer dress as the outfit because we build the body. Underneath that dress is already a foam body. There's corsetry, the hip pads, the like 4 pairs of stockings, and that becomes our naked body. So already the outfit is not comfortable. It's as comfortable as it could be. But I still, stretch is always great. Like some degree of stretch always is helpful, but we also don't shy away from using not woven materials. It's like we just make them work. But that dress in particular was on a stretch mesh. That it's like a chiffon mesh.
And this show as a whole and RuPaul as a public figure has brought so much extravagance and expressiveness and playfulness to not just drag but fashion in general.
Yes.
Like have you been feeling that, like in general, like a greater playfulness, a greater sense of brightness in the fashion world as the show has gotten more popular?
Absolutely. The show sort of like helped open and validate the floodgates of what was happening anyway in sort of identity politics. It's like gender identity politics, and what's so genius about what RuPaul has created is this creative space where everyone can feel, not only the contestants, but everyone involved who watches the show can feel like inspired to sort of like go beyond their comfort zones, push beyond their boundaries, and express themselves in real life or in the challenges, and you can definitely see it in fashion. It's all out there. Everyone is like so over the top, and I love it. It's so comforting, inspiring, and just a lovely thing to see that it's like a global reaction to what's happening in the world, and I love being a part of it.
And also, of course, part of that is breaking down the doors of gender, and seeing different kinds of gender expression on men, women, trans people, non-binary people. It just feels, like even I look at an Emmy red carpet and I'll see like it's usually the women have the luxurious gowns and it's a man in a tux. But now even the men's looks are like it's color. There's gold. There's like this incredible pattern. It's like it's opened up expressiveness for all genders. It feels like.
Well, I mean, I guess some people feel like they need the permission to be able to express themselves. And if our show has helped that in any way, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? It's like, why would you stop anybody from feeling inspired to wear a gown if they want to wear a gown? Like Kid Cudi on SNL. It's like, it's a beautiful thing to not to like fully express yourself and present yourself to the world in the best way you feel. And so I'm all for like men walking down in the hot pink suits with like a gown and a bow tie. Like, I love it. I love what's happening. It's just like, like my 10-year-old, like 10 or 15 years ago, when I was going out dressed like that, it was just like, it was such a rarity. But now it's just like people applaud it and love it.
Well, congratulations to you for your work on the show, and for your continued work on every version of RuPaul's Drag Race that we're seeing. Yeah. And for all of the positive impact that it's had on fashion and culture. And it's been a pleasure talking to you.
You too.